Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's the Ramble, and I'm Alex, and that's the city below us, New York, and we'll be here until midnight tonight. Guess who's back from her long voyages across the seas and around your block?
Well, I'm dizzy.
It's Lori Thompson.
Hi. Yes, it is nice to be back. It's fun to be gone. Nice to be back. You know, that old cliche.
Well, you know, how long were you gone now? How long were you
We were gone for just about 4 days shy of a month.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I find more than 3 weeks drives me batty.
Well, it didn't drive me batty, but we had enough misadventures along the way to keep us distracted, if not entertained.
What do you mean misadventures? I mean, this seems to indicate not all went well.
Well, it was going really, really well, and still.
Okay, well, let's first of all, just to put people in the frame of mind.
Yes.
Let's start from the beginning. You were going to where? Starting off, you're going to Lisbon and taking off from there, right?
Yeah, Lisbon, Portugal, which is wonderful. Loved it.
I hear Portugal's terrific.
It is.
I've never been there.
Oh man, you'd like it. And I'd read a lot about the tile, how tile tells the history of Portugal, and as a tile is almost a means of communication, like written history in Portugal. It almost has that much significance.
Oh wow!
Because yeah, it's great because in the churches, the tiles are not just beautiful, but they tell stories. And so I knew that, and I thought, wow, that is a really different, unique, unknown to me until now, form of communication.
Right.
And a form of handing down folklore and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisbon was a blast.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I have a sodium issue. My sodium's real, real low. If it gets too low, below 122, it makes me hallucinate.
Makes you hallucinate?
Well, yeah, not like I want to, like, oh, there are 5 pigs on the lawn, I think I'll shoot them with my musket. Not that kind of hallucination. But I tend to lose track of where I am. And not for long, but like for 15 to 20 minutes, which can really throw you from the inside because you don't know what's going on. You think you're just interacting to everything as is, and, you know, you've got one shoe on. So it's a really scary situation.
Have you had a doctor analyze this and everything? Okay, so you know this is an existent condition. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that.
See, this is what happens when old people get together. They talk about what's wrong with them. You know.
But no, that's why I want to gloss.
When I was in my 20s, we get together and talk about who we got laid with. Right. You know, and what it was like, and what a good time we had, and whatever, and never health. No,
never. And see, I don't like to dwell on it because I vowed never.
No, but as you get older, that's what you got to talk about it. It's your life.
Yeah, it was, and it's weird, and I don't notice it as much as my spousal unit does, because Ricky said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "It's like you're just not making any sense." And to me, everything makes sense, but it's just kind of, there's a gauze tarp thrown over everything. Yeah. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
And it only lasts about 20 minutes or something?
Yeah, but then it can like happen again in an hour for another 20 minutes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And so, and that just means grab some Gatorade. But we found these great things in Europe, which I'm sure they have at CVS, but I just drink Gatorade constantly from the moment I wake up here in the States, and it keeps it at bay. Yeah. So we really hit on those high electrolyte powders, and they sell them in Europe. Just look for the big green cross, and you can find them anywhere. So we examined that route, and from there everything was fine. Yeah. But Azamara has this big thing. They call it White Nights, and it's where the entire crew gets out and serves you this sumptuous buffet, lobster as much as you want. Just a really cool event with music, and it's just a really cool thing. And I was going to that. So you think about it. You got like this overload of stimuli. You got crowds. You got loud music. You got everything. Which, if you're in a hallucinatory, low sodium state, just makes everything like, wow, the lights are right here. Just makes everything ecstasy. And so once we got that under control, then the weather kicked in, and it was just ridiculously cold and rainy. There's a difference between rain and cold rain that's in your face and hits you and smacks you every step. Yeah. That's what it was.
And also, it's, for instance, if it rained right now where you are, and it is windy, it looks windy out there. It would be a different feeling than if the same thing happened to you in Portugal.
Yes.
Okay, exactly. Because weather is different everywhere, and its manifestations are as well.
Yeah, and that's been one of the most fascinating things to me as we've traveled more, is the weather, how it fluctuates and means different things in different places, in a forecast. And also just the brand names change for things, but one thing that's very popular and remains the same, Kit Kat. It's Kit Kat? Over here. Everybody, Europe loves their Kit Kats. But other things, not just because of the language change, but other brand names. Same logo, same everything, but they call it something you've never heard of, like an Almond Joy or something like that.
Well, like for instance, in Europe, Coca-Cola, Coke Zero or Diet Coke is called Coke Light.
Really? Now, I thought you were going to say Coke Nada.
No, it's called Coke Light because in Europe, the word diet kind of means death.
Ooh.
So you don't want to go on a diet. Especially if you're older, you don't want to go on a diet. It's death.
Right. That would be a one-time diet.
Yeah, so they name it Coke Light over there.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of...
And I imagine Coke Zero probably is Coke Zero over there because that's not a terrible term,
Yeah, and I just noticed the changes. I love the changes in people. There's a lot more patience when you get into the smaller towns in Italy, Spain, and France. Yeah. A lot more, and I like that slow pace. See, my husband is very... I love Spain.
I know. And I took you to Spain. I took you to Ibiza.
Yeah.
The greatest thing there, and they still do it, they tried to do away with it, but they couldn't get the rest of the country to get on board, is siesta.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
and so at 1 o'clock, everybody knocks off work, and until 4:30, it's siesta. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you go to sleep. People hold parties, people hold meals, big meals. It's kind of like what we would call dinner time here.
Or high tea in England.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it was created because... Okay, it was created because of what everything is created for: sex. If you have sex first thing in the morning, you're not really up to it. You're still tired and everything, grouchy. And when you come home, you don't want sex because you've worked all day. You're exhausted, right?
That's right.
So siesta was created in the middle of the day for people to go home and have sex.
Oh, nookie break.
Yeah. So it was caused out of a sexual necessity.
Oh, yeah, because, when you wake up, you're like, oh, I can do so much better than this. Meet me at noon. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
And really, it was just wonderful. And everything closes down except for one pharmacy. One pharmacy always stays open so that in case there's a medical emergency, people can have access to it.
Well, that's what I just like. That concept of siesta is not as adhered to as it used to be. Like when you and I were there, and that's probably for everything. Bottom line is money. Probably for business reasons. Yeah. Now everything pretty much stays open all day, but that's a great tradition. I agree with you.
It's a great tradition, and I was always very fond of it. I always took siesta very seriously.
Yes, I bet you did.
You know.
And well, when we were in Monte Carlo, I loved Monte Carlo, Monaco, Saint Tropez. We went into the casino in Monaco. It doesn't open until 2 though, and you have to pay $18 just to get in.
You didn't go to the main casino because I don't think you can walk right into the main. You can see it, but
but you have to jump through some.
There are the small. They have smaller casinos there.
Yeah, and then there's one right beside the big one you see in the James Bond flicks.
Yeah, but that one is a very fancy one.
It is a very
and not
fancy
everybody can get in there.
Right. There's a dress code, and you have to pay. It's $18 if you just want to look at what they have on the floor.
Yeah.
You know.
But also at Monaco, outside, I don't know if it was there when you were there, are all these really expensive cars.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody, if you've got an expensive car, they'll park it for you right in front of the, I don't know what they call the casino, but you know.
We've got pictures of it. We just called it the casino.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there dozens of times, and in fact, I had a hotel I stayed at called Capistel, which was right on the water, about a couple of miles away from Monte Carlo. So, and it was great. It was like an old Russian villa, and it had been turned into a hotel, and it was just wonderful. Wonderful.
It's Monte Carlo, and I was kind of set not to be impressed with Monte Carlo and Monaco because of their reputation, for wealth and elitism and kind of exclusionary. And I hate that in culture. But I love Monte Carlo.
Yeah, it. No, it's very nice. And what's interesting about it is the density of the city.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is only a couple of square miles or something.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to be able to build homes and have places for people to live and so on and so on. Everything is like compressed together,
Yeah.
and they're on hills, and you have the Bosch Corniche, which is the bottom road, and then there's another Corniche, which is a middle road, and then there's the high road where Grace Kelly, of course, drove and killed herself. So.
Yeah, now see the rumor, and I tried to get I asked of a couple tour guides, what's the real scoop? Was Grace driving and she was hammered, and Stephanie took the hit? Her daughter Stephanie, youngest daughter Stephanie, was with her, and there were rumors around that time that Grace had developed a bit of a tippling problem, like a lot of fine people we know. And Stephanie switched places, or the official word was that Stephanie was driving, but the tour guide wouldn't give it up. Very, just kind of danced around the topic.
Well, that's royalty.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's even if it's like a couple of square miles, it's royalty.
Exactly. And then we saw where she was buried, or where she's interned. Yeah, I don't think she's buried.
Yeah, and then they have a race every year there.
It's going on this coming month. It's going on in May. We got to trace the course on one of our tours.
It's in the middle of the city. I mean, it has to go through the city.
Yeah, because they were just finishing putting up the bleachers, and we got to go on 2 legs of the actual route. No hairpin turns. We didn't do the hairpin turns, but it was a blast. It was the best time to go to Monte Carlo. Because he said, the tour guide said that if you go in May, expect to feel like sardines, because there are so many. I think a couple of them only happen every 2 years, but they have so many things going on in the month of May in Monte Carlo, as a rule. Like I say, every other year.
Yeah. Well, of course, I have a hard time walking now, so I don't know how much of that I could make.
Yeah. Have you checked for compression fractures?
No. This all has to do with what do you call it?
Too much
neuropathy, and also my balance. My sense of balance is off, so I walk with a cane, not because I need it for pain or whatever, which or because one leg doesn't work or the other. I only for balance.
Yeah.
You know, and Marjorie does it too. We're two old people with our walking sticks, you know.
But you probably look very dapper. It's like, oh, look at that elegant couple with
Yeah,
their
but I have a
walking
great
stick.
fear of walking now. So, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Once you
those,
take a-
you know, I don't know how much of Monaco I could see now. You know, I used to run around and. I think I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times. I mean, every time I've been
Yeah.
in Europe, I wind up in Monaco, and I don't know why that happens.
Because it's just fun. But you can take what they call a tuk-tuk tour, which is essentially, it's a lot like a golf cart.
Oh, okay.
But you can get them for just 2 people. And it's kind of like a private tour if you get a good tour guide. So I don't mind the tuk-tuk so much because they kind of felt like cheating at first. But the more I got tired of walking, it was like, yeah, one of those tuk-tuk tours.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, if you're going to see this stuff, why put yourself in great pain? You know, exactly. Well,
It's-
I'm going to walk. I don't care if I
Well,
feel horrible doing it, but no.
That's my hardcore husband is like that. I mean, I'm just like, you just don't get it, do you?
Yeah.
Fractures are breaks in your back.
Well, we're going to have enough money very soon to be able to hire somebody to drive us around. You know, things like that.
That's what we did in Barcelona, and was it Barcelona?
Barcelona. I love that city. I love that city.
It's
But
still fab.
did you left your purse at home, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
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 left it in the-
It's probably still they got purse snatchers like crazy.
I've heard that.
And please, for the sake of not suing me for sexism, I said snatch in a different context.
But now the feminists will say snatch, but he said it in a sentence with purse. He's anti-feminism.
Did you
Yeah.
snatch your purse? Anyway, so I love Barcelona. I mean, it's just a magnificent city.
And it still maintained that Olympic appeal and cleanliness.
Well, we were
and
there
stuff.
together
Yeah, I know.
when we went to the Olympics with Coca-Cola. And it was after that I got us on a plane and took us to Ibiza so you could see Ibiza. And you saw it before it became the thing to do.
Yeah. Because
You know.
actually the tour guide in Monte Carlo said Monte Carlo used to be the thing. Now Ibiza is the thing.
Yeah. And Ibiza I don't want to go near, okay? And I love Ibiza. Just love it.
Well, last time I was there, they did have the Amnesia, the foam disco,
Uh-huh.
where you just dance all night on ecstasy and then they hose you off. They did have that. But I think when ecstasy hit Ibiza, and with good reason, you know, its cachet as a party spot zoomed. Because you can just dance all night.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, when I went there, only the very brave went there. When I first went there, I landed at nighttime, and my friends picked me up and took me to the center of town, which is the old town.
Yeah.
And there's a big hill, and then at the bottom is the old town. And the first thing I saw was a dog eating a cat. And I realized I must be someplace very dangerous. And it was. I mean, it was something like out of Casablanca at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock every night. This guy named El Rubio, the blonde one, would come in with his goon thwacking a belt in his hand and and start checking everybody's passports.
Whoa.
To make sure they were legitimate. And then it kind of chased people out of the club, which kind of they paid El Rubio to do so people would feel uncomfortable and leave the club at like 11 o'clock at night so they could go home and, you know, go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it still had some rustic charm.
But it had that kind of Casablanca, you know, because and Franco was still in power. So you felt it everywhere. But there was something about that by living on the edge that made it so exciting and so vibrant.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the people I knew there were all expatriates from America, you know, and some of them were drug dealers, you know, because the Ibiza was kind of the place where a lot of the drug dealers, smugglers, resided and ran their drugs from where was it, from Africa or wherever?
Years or
yeah, to, I'm trying to remember the country, to Marseille, and then they would orchestrate the whole thing.
That was the French
And
Connection.
also, I briefly saw Elmire de Hory, who was the world famous art forger.
Yes.
And he wound up in jail in Ibiza. Finally, after years and years of them trying to nail him, they finally nailed him. He wound up in I think he died in the jail or committed suicide. I can't remember which. But this guy, there's still paintings he's forged in museums around the world that they don't know are de Hory's.
Yeah.
And what he did, he was very smart. It wasn't like he said, "Oh well, I'm going to do Starry Night by Van Gogh." He would do a painting in the style of Van Gogh.
Right, a long lost.
Yeah. And so it became a long lost object and painting. And that's how he was a great art forger.
Yes. Well, it seemed like Ibiza was a center for forging of art items, because didn't Clifford Irving
wrote the book about what's his name? Howard Hughes. Yeah.
And it was a bestseller, and Irving was celebrated on all the talk shows. Big one on the Dick Cavett
I used to date Clifford Irving's nanny.
Really?
Took care of his kids. Yeah, she knew him quite well. Yeah.
Well, that was, he went to prison for that, didn't he?
Yes.
I think.
Yes, for a short time.
Yeah, look it up. Google it. Clifford Irving. It was a big deal at the time.
Clifford Irving did it to, what can I call, impress Elmire de Hory.
Oh.
In other words, he wanted to show he could do a kind of forgery, and was trying to impress Elmire, who basically was his guy, So.
Yeah. So it was a mecca for forging.
Yeah. So it was a very just dangerous place to be, and you loved it. You saw how good it was, and there were some tourists, but it wasn't that kind of thing. You had a disco, but not that many people went. Now it's just, I've seen videos of it. You don't want to get near that place.
Well, last time I was there, and this would still have been in the 90s, probably the mid to late 90s. I loved it so much when you and I were there. I went back with a friend of mine, and we were just knocking around, and we met this cool couple, these two gay guys from Georgia, Atlanta, and we were just palling around with them all night, and they took us upstairs to a room with all the lights out, filled with nothing but guys. And I was not familiar with this concept. It was kind of a grope room.
A grope room?
A grope room, where, and we were, for the first couple of minutes were fine. And then one guy took exception to us, the two females in the room. And I don't know, he thought we had some kind of nefarious intentions, because he got hostile. And I don't feel in danger very often. I have a high tolerance for, this could get bad. But I said to my friend, we gotta go, because it was, at that time, I just felt this is not a good scene. This was
not a good scene. Yeah.
Not advisory for me to be there.
But anyway, I love Spain. I just love Spain.
Spain is
the food is incredible. The paella. Remember, I took you to that place on the beach
right at Cal de Hort.
Yeah, Cal de Hort, and you saw Vedra, those two big rocks coming out of the water.
That is a mystical place.
It's mystical. Really is. It is mystical. I used to climb. I don't think I took you, but I climbed up to there's a tower on the hill, and I used to climb up there all the time when I go over there. Yeah, and I knew at one point there was a woman I knew who actually lived in it. By the time I went the next time, they had closed it down and taken it over as a government subsidized landmark or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of those.
But I would go up there, and it was so mystical, and it gave me. I wish I could walk up there now. I don't think I can, because it's a pretty heavy walk. But it did something to me in my core that lasted with me for years after I'd be there.
Yeah.
It was just very mystical, very mystical.
Well, I had a real moving feeling. We were on a tour of Rome, which, if you want to go, expect to take half an hour to go 2.5 miles, because I can speak with experience. But we were taking a tour, and she took us on a small tour, pointed to a small section of like two homes. And I took a picture of the door, number 19, because that was the last Jewish or tolerated Jewish community that they kept track of before World War II. This was her story when the Jews were being driven out of Rome, that they were somehow allowed to stay in one house. And then, of course, that was taken over too. But it was, you could feel so much history in that. I just stood before that door, because a door, your house represents home and familiarity and comfort and security. And
I hate to say this, but we've run out of time. So next time we'll come back and continue with your voyage.
Okay.
Okay. Hope everybody's enjoyed our little travelogue today. And that's Lori Thompson. Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Missed you.
Mwah.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, yes, okay. Shall I play that again just so that it's...
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay, anyway, hello everybody, how are you? It's Wednesday, and it's the first day of the week for us, and good to have Lori back, and we have her until, January, when she's leaving for 5 months, I think, on a around the world boat tour. Man, I don't know if I could take that long a time on a boat tour. I'm sorry. I don't think so. But anyway, let me just, okay, we're ready to go here. I think we're ready to go. But first I want to show you something. As long as we have some time here, let me just do something here. This is really kind of interesting, to tell you the truth. And let me see if I can do this. All right, let me put this, let me move this down here, okay? Get rid of that for a second, and then we'll be able to show it to you. This is, let's see here. This is our good friend. Let's see, where are we? I got to figure out how to do this now. Okay, all righty, there we go. It's a Skype, what is it? Wait a minute. Well, let me just do it. Let me do it this way, okay? Okay, I got to show you something. And this takes me a little bit of time to get going here, but we will get going. Okay, let me do a little. What is that? It's computer. Okay, and it's listed as computer. All right. I don't see it anywhere else down here on my thing, so let me just show it to you here. There we go. That's our president, right? Albert Reynoso did this, okay?
Now listen, Alex Bennett is just good for America. We'll create jobs for him and Albert Reynoso.
You understand, of course, this is the magic of AI.
Now listen, Alex Bennett is just good for America. We'll create jobs for him and Albert Reynoso.
Okay, but under him, look who we got here.
Excuse me, Alex Bennett is, people say, a total fake, more fake than the failing Albert Reynoso.
Should we try that again?
Excuse me, Alex Bennett is, people say, a total fake, more fake than the failing Albert Reynoso.
Okay, there we go. So there you go, folks. There's a perfect example of AI. All right? Okay, all righty. Let me bring this back up here, and let me bring this back up here. These are so I can see these things. Here we go. Wait a minute. That's, okay, all right, that's fine. Let me go here like that, and then we're ready to go. All right. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy that, so I thought we'd share that with you. That was courtesy of Albert Reynoso. There are places you can go online now and turn out things like that. And quite frankly, I'm thinking of doing it soon and turning out some interesting stuff. Anyway, I think it's time for us to go to our... We only have 2 people here. Boy, this is getting depressing. Here comes Charlie Wallace, and here comes, let's see here, Jeff Stein, if he's there.
You do.
Huh?
I said hello.
Hello. But we don't have a picture on you.
No picture, huh?
No picture.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better. There we
getting
go.
better.
There you go. Okay. So you're the only 2 people.
No boy.
Well, I see another guy.
Yeah. It's depressing.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Here comes Kevin. Kevin's going to join us. We can always depend on Kevin, you know. Kevin's a good guy. There he is.
Yep.
I don't know why in the beginning he has that kind of noise in his picture, and then it just goes away after a while. So,
Don't know.
hi, Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Oh, I see. And we also have Charlie here, and well, it's good. We got a little bit of a crowd here. Wait a minute. Are you having trouble? Is he having trouble?
He's having trouble with his audio. Can't hear him.
I bet he's writing me. Wait a minute.
Hello.
Yeah,
There
we can
we
hear
go.
you.
Yeah, we had a power failure last night, so everything goes wacko when I got to reboot.
Yeah, it goes wacko for me like first day of the week. You know.
Yeah, for some reason, one of transformer blew up down the street, and power went off for like, I don't know, 8 seconds, and everything went haywire.
Yeah.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how are you all doing?
Good.
Do you have a nice
Pretty
week?
good.
You have a nice weekend and stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Got
Here
another
comes-
COVID shot.
You got a COVID?
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boy, that looks bloody.
No, that's a Band-Aid.
Did it hurt?
No.
No. The
Good.
COVID shot never really hurts that much, you know?
Nope.
I'll tell you what's not fun is the, have you ever gotten the, what is it, the shingle shot?
Yes, I've gotten that.
Shingle shots are not fun.
Not at all.
They hurt, and then feel lousy for a couple of days.
Mm.
And
But
they
it's
say,
better than shingles. Just ask Brian.
well, where is
Yeah.
Brian? What happened to Brian here?
I don't know. Oof.
Brian,
Fucking around with my computer system. That's the problem.
Yeah.
you've been screwing around with your computer system?
No, somebody else.
Oh, oh, do we know her?
Yes.
It only gets worse. Wait till she hits teenage years.
No, not
Yeah.
her. No,
Oh,
it's
not her?
that's the wrong her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another her.
Yeah, the her that uses my office
Okay, well, let me.
once a week. She uses it once a week and leaves
Oh.
her crap
I forgot
everywhere.
that she did.
Her notes everywhere. Moves all my shit around. Okay, I gotta figure this out. Just keep talking amongst you.
It's even worse when they decide to clean your desk. Then you
Oh.
can't find anything.
Why don't
It's
you go to the
it's usually like
Zoom-
15 windows are left open, right? Nothing's logged
Oh.
out.
No, because she has her laptop, so she takes her laptop, but then leaves her big fancy keyboard, leaves her mouse, leaves her mouse pad, leaves her heater, and then
They don't have their
Use it
own.
and walk away.
They don't have their own computers.
because I have a nice station, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So they prefer to use yours than their own.
She.
Oh, she. Well,
No they in
that's
this.
the other girl in the family, young girl.
But the other one wants a laptop, wants a phone, wants a this.
And what do you tell her?
No, 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 no.
When is she going to get one?
None of your business. You get a lot of money, you get her one.
Does she bug you constantly for it?
Yes, every single
Yep.
day. I gave her one of my old ones, and it's on the cruise ship somewhere out in Alaska or somewhere.
She left it on
Wait a
the
minute, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You lost me. Are we talking about
Adrian.
Adrian? She lost it on a cruise
I gave her
ship?
my old phone, my iPhone 8, and I got an iPhone 12 or whatever work gave me,
Yeah.
a new one. And then, yes, can't find it, and we just came back from the ship, so yeah.
Oh boy. Well,
Oh,
It's okay. You can just get a new one.
it's a lot of fun being a father, isn't it?
she's telling me, go get a new one, Daddy, so I can have your old one.
Yeah.
What do you have in there? A banana?
Yeah, banana. Yep.
I have a banana every day.
Me too.
They're very healthy for you, aren't they?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to take them.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to for a little while, and then I got my whatever things down. But yeah, is it for
I
heart?
had to, 'cause my potassium was always
You're saying
low.
it's not good for us, Jeff?
I don't know. I take so many drugs and I have combination. Don't do that. This is okay. This is I don't know. It's very complex. And somehow I'm alive. And I'm in the 70s plus.
Tell me about it.
Well, I take it because it, I'm feeling lightheaded a lot. I'm feeling dizzy. I have the vertigo and so on. And I find when I take the bananas, it helps. Doesn't solve it, but it helps. What is it? Potassium that's in bananas or something?
Yeah, that's what I have to have because my potassium is always way low off the chart. It made me eat a banana every day, and it brought it up. I just had my physical; everything was normal.
Really? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, in about a week and a half, I have to go to my cancer guy, and he's got to give me another test for my blood to see how my platelets are because they were a little on the low side. Not dangerously low, but low. And so he wants to just check it to make sure it hasn't gone lower. And usually I found if it goes low, it goes high, and then it goes low again, and then it goes high. I mean, it's all over the place. So anyway, so I've been just taking vitamins every day and taking B12, which is supposed to be good for platelets. And I figure, hey, the banana can't hurt, so I do the banana. And we order bananas like crazy. So there's always a bunch of bananas in the house.
Yep.
So coming up on the Ramble next week, Alex's Cancer Watch again.
My what?
Your Cancer Watch. We get to hear you. Oh, my doctor hasn't called me. What's going on?
No. This guy's okay. Do you know something? This is interesting. You remember I took all those blood tests and everything with that guy, and he never got back to me?
Yes, we remember.
I am literally sitting there. They drew blood out of me, okay, and sent it out for testing to Mount Sinai. As I'm sitting there, my watch is going off, and another test has come back. And by the time I left the doctor's office, every test had been done, had come back.
Yep.
And I got them all on my watch, and life is wonderful.
Yep.
So at least I don't have to worry about that, So
I told you we have one test for HIV in London. They have a thing that you can go into, and you can put your sample in there, and it goes up a tube, and they test it, and then they text you to see if you have HIV or not. And so, but the commercial that they use for this, the ad they use for this, the guy's at the bar with his friends, and then he gets a text, and it says like no HIV, and he's like yes, and I'm like, oh my god, he's like ready to go out again and go hook up with some girl. It's so bad. It's like the worst commercial ad phase ever.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only reason I would hate to be gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the reason I would hate to be gay is because you've got to worry about these things. Okay, you've got to you got to go get tested. Make sure you don't have AIDS. However, if you have it today, they pretty much can take care of it. I mean, it's this thing was. I mean, I remember when it first happened. It was the most dreadful disease I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson's still alive.
Magic Johnson's still alive. Good, very good point. But a lot of other people died. I mean, it was just a horrible thing. But
now you see.
But now it's not deadly any longer. They just give you some medicine and you're good to go.
Well, they can make it so you're undetectable now with the medication.
I don't understand that one though. They say you're undetectable. What does that mean? Nobody has to know you have it? I mean, what do they mean by undetectable?
No, basically you do a test and it comes up negative.
Okay, but you may still have it, but you're undetectable?
No, it comes up ND, non-detectable.
Okay, so that's
there's a difference between negative and non-detectable.
Well,
because we used to have that
right.
when we were testing our gases at work.
Well,
you would. There's a difference between non-detectable. It means that the machine did not pick it up.
Yeah,
you probably know that, Brian.
Well, my PSA test comes back non-detectable. So I guess
mine was 1.1.
What?
My PSA 1.1.
1.1. That's fine.
Yep.
For a guy who still has his prostate working. Me, they just pretty well slammed it shut.
Sound like they completely
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Alan's here, isn't he?
No.
Oh, no, Alan isn't here. What am I? I'm out of it tonight. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Not that I am not always out of it, but
Alan's been dissing. He's not been here for a couple of days.
Huh?
He's hardly been around for about a week.
Who hasn't been around for a couple?
Alan.
Oh, Alan? Oh, Alan was here
last
Friday.
Yeah.
And the past couple of days, you're right. What you first said, I haven't been here, but Alex wasn't on either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're right.
He's there now.
Yeah.
I'm there now. I know you guys missed me. Thanks, Jeff.
We do.
Thank you, Jeff.
So over the weekend, I did some editing here, and I made up a whole new opening to the show.
Ooh.
Wow.
Which I'm not going to show you now because it isn't applicable until June 1st.
Oh, okay.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
No, you got to change the opening.
I know why.
Well, because it's another year.
Exactly, 10 years.
Yeah. So I just redid everything. I did all the graphics in there and stuff like that. It looks good. It looks terrific. But I'm not gonna. I can show it to you now, but I'm not going to.
No, it's okay. But yeah, I was just thinking that when I heard Steve Fox's thingy, the 9 years, I was saying, wow, it must be coming up 10 years pretty soon.
Yeah. So we're coming up on it doesn't even say 10 years, the opening. It says, what does it say?
Please join us. Been on the air for 82 years.
No. It's rather than saying now in its 10th year, now in its first era.
Uh-huh.
Now you're going to confuse a lot of people.
Doing a little Taylor Swift there. Be careful.
Well, the rest of the rest of the imagers will say in its 10th year. Okay.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's album is Eras, isn't it, Charlie? Era?
Yeah. Well, that was her tour. I don't know.
Or tour.
Did you hear that this one website that reviews music reviewed the new Taylor Swift album, and the guy didn't like it?
Oh, well, I haven't gotten mine yet. It's in the
And as a result, they had to take his name off the review because he was getting death threats.
I'll bet.
Don't
mess with us Swifties.
What?
Don't mess with us Swifties.
Well, the screw
So-
Swifties, I mean, all these Swifties can go to hell. What are they doing threatening these people if they give her a bad review?
You're gonna lose listeners now.
I hear the new album's kind of mediocre. Have you heard it yet, Charlie? Since you're
No, I
the,
said I just ordered it from Amazon. It should be here tomorrow.
well, we'll listen to it, and then tomorrow night we'll ask you what you think. And
So
we
she's
won't
in a
na-
beef with
what?
She's in a beef with Kim Kardashian, and Kim Kardashian lost like a couple 100,000 people on her followers.
Because
Made them choose.
well, didn't she? What was the story with that? Something happened with Kim years ago where they had a falling out.
That's Charlie.
Huh?
I don't know the history. I just became, something. I just became a Swiftie a few months ago.
What, you just became a Swiftie a few months ago? You acted
Yeah.
like you were the biggest Swiftie fan of all time.
Well, I am now, but it was only during the playoffs when she was supporting,
But how can you? Let me. You know, I
That made
can't.
me listen to all of her music, and I discovered I really liked it.
What was it about her music you liked? Please explain this to me.
Believe it or not, I'm a 74-year-old man, and her music speaks to me.
Well,
Oh,
Charlie, you
really?
and my 8-year-old have a lot in common now.
Does Adrian like Taylor Swift?
She says she does, but yeah, she knows songs.
What? Why does she say she likes her? She's afraid that at school they might try and kill her?
No.
I just don't think anybody deserves the popularity that Taylor Swift has.
I think now the big scrutiny is, right, Beyonce has a country album, and now CNN's even doing something on it.
You know, I just saw a movie tonight. We were watching a movie with Beyonce in it called Cadillac Records, which is the story of Chess Records. And she plays Etta James. And she sings one song. I know she sings. I don't know if she lip syncs the rest of old Etta James. But she does it last, which is what she sang at the Obama inaugural ball. And but the one thing I noticed about her that is a real shame, she's a really good actress.
Oh, yeah.
She really knocked it out of the park. I mean, she was amazing. And sometimes people, you know, they don't keep things going on both cylinders, and they really should. It's terrible. So I kind of felt bad that, you know, now Beyonce is a country star, right? Have you heard her album at all, Charlie?
No, I haven't heard any of Beyonce's music since she left Destiny's Child.
Yeah, there we go.
Since she left what? Oh, Destiny's Child?
Yeah.
Destiny's Child, Expose. Remember all those freestyle type girls?
Yeah.
Well, I really like her. I mean, I think she's good. I think she's really good. You know, and it's good that she did this country album. You know, I mean, it changes things up. They kept saying, well, she was the first person, black person, to do a country album, and I'm going, anybody ever heard of Charlie Pride?
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Pride was a major player in the country field.
Yeah.
And he was
they wouldn't put his picture on his albums because they were afraid he'd lose too many fans.
I mean, in the very beginning.
Yeah, back in the 50s and whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, after a while, everybody knew he was black.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, so that was that. So anyway, what was it? There was something else that I want to bring up. I can't remember.
Taylor Swift started out as a country music singer, you know.
What?
Taylor Swift started out in country music.
She was country. Yeah. Yeah. What happened? Why did she leave country?
No money.
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 There's no money in country? Are you out of your mind?
Listen, I heard her say, good.
Is her new record, any of her records even rank on Blood on the Tracks? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. This album, Alex, is phenomenal.
That's one of the worst Bob Dylan albums of all time.
Oh, get out of here. There's not a bad song on this one. He's still, even his later work is good.
What are some of the songs on there?
Oh, come on, Alex. Tangled Up in Blue,
Yeah.
Twist of Fate, Idiot Wind, You're a Big Girl Now, Meet Me in the Morning, Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts, Shelter from the Storm, Buckets of Rain. If you see us, the whole album's great.
I've never heard of any of them.
Oh, please. And what about
I'm
this?
with you, Tony.
Alex, is it better than Exile on Main Street? I doubt it.
I don't think it could be.
Oranges, Tony. Apples and oranges.
Alex, you know who you turned me on to do that I bought the CD? That your dad played in the club with, what's his name?
My dad played.
Yeah, I got the album over there. Hold on. Steve
Miller?
Yeah.
Miller?
Over there.
He's not listening to me.
Yeah,
There
he's
you-
away from the computer.
I
Yeah.
put on my earphones since I
There
can't
he
hear everything everybody's saying.
Steve Miller?
Yeah, Steve
Steve
Miller.
Miller. Yeah.
Yeah. This whole album is great. It doesn't have the Joker, though. Great album. He's great.
Yeah.
Page 7. Yeah. One of my favorites.
Well, he wouldn't have been a recording artist if it hadn't been for my father.
You were saying that. I mean, he's
Because
phenomenal.
he couldn't get in the union. Couldn't get in the musicians union because in those days, in order to be in the musicians union, you have to go in front of a bunch of half-baked musicians and then play for them to show that you can read music.
Oh, wow.
Well, he couldn't read music, and my father said this is an antiquated thing for you to do because just because somebody can't read music doesn't mean they're not a good musician. The reason they did that was because they were a union, and it was almost just like, when you send a guy out to do plumbing, and they want him to be part of the plumbers union because he knows how to fix plumbing. So when you send out a musician, he should be able to do everything, read the music, play the music, and so on. He said, let me just bring him in, and you listen to him play, and you tell me if he shouldn't have a card. And he came in, and he played for them. And they said, can you read music? He said, no. They said, he's terrific. My father said, see, give him a card.
Yeah,
He got his union card.
That's a nice story, yeah.
Yeah, otherwise he wouldn't be able to work in the clubs.
I can't believe it. So what happens if you can't work in the clubs then? How do you get worked in back in the day then?
You didn't get work. If you
didn't work at all?
couldn't
Wow.
read music, you couldn't be a part of the musicians union. I mean, there were clubs that didn't have union musicians, but you'd have to work one of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was but now that's not a problem anymore. You play music, whether you can read it or not, they don't care. They give you a card, So, and when my father died, Steve Miller sent a letter to my mother saying if it weren't for Alex, she said I would have never been a member of the Musicians Union. He helped give me my career.
Nice.
My mother was very taken back by it.
That's nice, yeah.
So anyway,
That's a nice story.
Yeah.
Anything, did you hear? I told Phil Trump broke wind. Is that true he fought it in the court? Is that what they joking?
Yes.
He did break wind? Yeah, my brother's
That's pretty well
this
documented.
guy's shitting his pants now.
Pretty well documented. Yeah, no, he didn't shart. He just farted. Yeah.
He's got to be losing voters. Come on.
Yeah, they're coming out of his rear.
Yeah, he would lose voters, but they aren't close enough to smell it. So
Imagine the judge says, he who smells it did it. I didn't do it.
yeah.
Somebody said the reason they keep the courtroom so cold is so that the smell would settle to the ground instead of rising up and spreading out the room.
Oh,
Did you see what? Did you see what Jimmy Kimmel did?
Yeah. I like that he kills him every night.
Yeah,
He just buries him.
Jimmy Kimmel had me rolling on the floor.
well, it's also because there's nothing funnier than a fart sound. What do whoopee cushions do? They make a fart sound, and Ah ha ha! We all have a great laugh because the sound of. And how about Blazing Saddles? I'd seen him
Oh,
Blazing
remember that
Saddles.
Mongo? Yeah,
I
remember
couldn't stop
Campfire.
laughing.
Yeah, that was the best. That was fun in Mongo. That was a football player, I think. Was that Alzado? Or no,
Alex
Matusiak.
Karras. Alex
Oh,
Karras.
yeah. Okay.
Alex Karras. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Webster, yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it was really good, you know. So I love that farting. And the
Mongo.
other thing that also makes me laugh a lot, Family Guy every now and then has scenes where they're throwing up continually.
You like that?
I don't know.
type
That's
stuff, yeah.
funny too.
You like to throw up. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
No, but the animation
Yeah.
of throwing up is very funny. So
My
whatever.
son loves that show.
I do
What?
like Family Guy too.
Yeah.
Every time that's on, Charlie, I'll just stop and watch it. And then I gotta watch an episode. I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so they are having this little trial here in New York, and who knows how it's going to turn out. I mean, I don't know if. Do you think it's going to affect his election possibilities?
I think so because there hasn't been a lot of people showing up to protest.
Yeah, but he said they were being held away down the street or something, you know.
Now there was
He
videos
also
of
says
some
there's
women walking
thousands
their
showing up.
dog.
Somebody walking their dog.
They were holding it back away from it, just walking their dog right by the courtroom.
Oh, yeah, well, you would have thought he would have had a ton of people out there with picket signs and all of that, you know. But I guess they used all the cardboard for picket signs for Columbia University. So, you know, because I'm about 2-3 blocks away from this thing, and I'd like to go up there, but I can't walk these days that far. So, and you have to go up these steps and up this hill, and it's, you know, but it's right up the block from us, and they're having these demonstrations about, you know, some people say that it's making the Jewish students uncomfortable, and I'm thinking, what's making them uncomfortable? The fact that some people don't like Israel, they think Israel's been doing a terrible thing to the people in Gaza, you know, and they're equating not liking Israel as being anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And it's not so. So today, guess who shows up?
Oh no.
The Speaker of the House.
What you hate him?
What's
Johnson?
Is that Schumer?
No.
Oh,
Where
Johnson.
have you been?
Johnson.
Oh, I thought. Oh, I'm sorry.
Schumer, that's the Senate.
Bennett.
I'm sorry. I know you dislike him, so I wasn't sure. I thought it was Schumer.
Oh boy. But who's the Speaker of the House? I keep forgetting his name.
Mike Johnson.
Johnson.
Johnson. He shows up and he's giving a speech, and they're booing him. They're just booing horribly booing him.
Wow.
And he's saying, "Oh, we should get rid of the Chancellor of Columbia if she doesn't do something about this and stop these people from doing this anti-Semitic stuff." And I'm thinking, who made you a Jew?
Yeah.
You know, here he is doing all this complaining and saying it's anti-Semitic and all. Let me decide that, okay, for myself. Alan, you look perturbed at what I'm saying.
No, I think it's great that he went there and supported the Jews.
But it isn't a matter of supporting the Jews. You
Supporting
know,
Israel.
huh? I mean, I'm Jewish.
Supporting
I would
Israel?
have absolutely no fear going up there and being in that crowd.
You weren't listening to Alex. There's a difference between supporting the Jews and supporting the Israeli government.
Well, I don't like Netanyahu, but I support Israel
Why?
because it's our homeland.
Oh, it isn't. It is not my homeland.
Okay, well, that's up to
Wait a
you.
minute. Let me ask you. Where were you born?
In Israel, no, in California.
Then you're not. You know, it's not
It's
your
my adopted
homeland.
homeland.
It's not. Have you been there? Once?
Yep.
That
I
was
did
most-
the where you go. Well, look at old Jeff over there. He's been there twice. I did the journey. You know, if you're born Jewish in another country, You can come there for a low cost. I can't remember. It was cheap.
Yeah.
Oh,
They don't have that for Africa.
I could try that, and I'd say, okay, lower the fares for me so I can come to Israel. And they say, you're Alex Bennett, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
No way we're doing that for you.
Well, I can understand that.
Huh?
I said I could understand. I'm teasing. I said I could understand that.
No, I mean, but it's just that I hate this equating that if you are pro-Gazan, for instance, and pro-Palestinian, which I have always been, that you are anti-Israel, and that's not the case, or that you are automatically anti-Semitic. Nothing could be further from the truth, you know. And that's a fear I always had as a Jew growing up in this country, that one day Israel would do something politically terrible, which they're doing right now, you have to admit. And, you know, it's just amazing to me. But anyway, the Gentile was up there telling us Jews what we should find upsetting and, you know, anti-Semitic. So, that's my stand. Okay, well, that's it for me for tonight. I have nothing else to talk about. Yeah. Yes, Charlie. Yes, Tony. You had something you
See, that is a good point, because say if you do have a disagreement with what he's doing, Netanyahu, they really shouldn't throw the label out there. It's almost like the racist label. It's like as soon as they don't like your opinion, they're going to label you then.
What he's doing at Yahoo?
Well, I'm meaning like say if Alex doesn't like what the guy from Israel is doing, and they can actually say, "Oh, you know what? What are you, anti-Semitic?" The same way they could say, like, "Oh, you're racist." They shut you down right away.
What they're complaining about is that Colombia supposedly has either had some kind of money they sent to Israel, or some kind of relationship that Columbia University has with Israel.
Yeah.
And they don't want them to have that relationship. They feel that you know, they are aiding and abetting what they consider genocide. And that's what they're protesting. And yeah, I'm sure there are a few people in there who hate Jews. Who doesn't? Anyway, a few people who do hate Jews. And then they say something or yell something, and all of a sudden it's the whole crowd. This is all these people hate Jews. I don't think most of the people up there hate Jews. They don't like Israel. They don't like Zionism. And that's okay, because that's a political position. You know? So.
You know what I was going to ask you, Alex? I could throw this out to the whole group. I don't know how it works, but how long has he been in power in Israel? Should they maybe is it maybe he's there just too long, and maybe you need a different leader on all sides? I mean, is he just there too long?
Who?
Where have you been?
Yeah. Meaning like Netanyahu, the guy who runs Israel. Is that Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years has he been in power, Alan? I mean, he's been there like how many years?
Too long.
He's been there
too long.
times.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Too long.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe if you have a change in the ruling of the country, you know, different views, different looks at things, you'll get, you know, you may have a chance to expand on things.
I don't want to be sarcastic.
They have their equivalent of Trump. And the reason why Netanyahu is just continuing this war is that he figures as long as this war is going, they're not going to throw him out of office.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, I'll ask you this question.
Or put him up on charges, by the way. There are criminal charges pending on Netanyahu.
Perfect example. Can you imagine if this country had one leader for 20 years?
Yeah, well, our Constitution stops
that.
Our Constitution stops that now, but...
For a reason.
Huh?
For a reason, because you need evolution. You need change.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
I think there are some things about the way our government is created and works that is ineffective. I think we're seeing it being ineffective now, in that we're seeing a lot of people who are, you know, with Congress, they can't get anything done.
Yeah, everything is a fight, like you said.
Because it's become so divisive. There should be some way to get around that, okay? And there's nothing in the Constitution that allows us to get around that. So we have to play by the constitutional rules. Okay, so
I think we have too many people having those jobs.
That's a good point too. You know, even Jeff, wouldn't you think? Can you imagine if we had no party system and they all had to stand on their own 2 feet? They don't have to be accountable then for their work.
wait a minute.
They
No
all
party.
just follow party line.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you saying? If we didn't,
Meaning,
have-
like the Republicans, if one person like Trump says don't do this, they all pretty much follow lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, like no party system, and if everybody just had to think for themselves without worrying about who I got to vote because they're all voting the same way, like the peer pressure,
Well,
you may have more work getting done.
I'm trying to think. What would it be like if we didn't have parties? Then people just ran, I guess.
Yeah, like
Man, that'd be very. I don't think we know how to do that. I don't think that's the way our government is created. You do have two parties, and the idea is the two parties balance each other off under normal conditions. But now it's turned into a situation where
Well, the problem is that people they have an allegiance to their party more than they have allegiance to the country.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what the founding fathers envisioned. They never considered that all of a sudden people wouldn't think what's best for the country over everything else.
Well, you would like to think that everybody who is in Congress and in the Senate and so on, their only concern should be, are we doing right by the country? Have we done our job today in keeping the country safe and whatever? But everybody plays these politics with each other. It never makes any sense to me. I mean, like there are people in Congress. Oh, we want to get away with Medicare and whatever, and Social Security, and I'm going. Don't you want things that are good for people? Medicare is good for people, Social Security is good for people. Why do you want things that aren't good for people, or why do you want to do away with things that are good for people? It's just meanness on their part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
Exactly.
I went to
That was a
Australia.
Taylor Swift song, Why you have to be so mean?
Okay, the whole world according to Taylor Swift and her football boyfriend. Yes, Jeff.
I went to Australia. They have anybody who needs medicine or a doctor or whatever, they're free.
Yeah.
They're organized.
Well, that should be a given.
In Europe, it's that way too.
Well, but that should be a given. People are not well.
Yeah.
You try to cure them. You give them the best medical treatment you can. And if we did it here in America, and we said, okay, well, you can have as much medical care as you want. It's just we're going to not make it that good. That's the way we do things here. We're not going to make it that good for you.
Like, let's hope he dies. God, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is? It's the right thing to do. It's morally right. I don't understand. You shouldn't have to worry when you get sick. Oh, God, I hope I can pay for this visit. I hope everything goes all right.
Well, if you don't have the money, you die.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
right.
terrible.
That's the Republican health plan.
Yeah.
Just die.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching. I watch the news every night, of course, and most of the ads on the news are for drugs.
Yep.
And it's just amazing how much the drugs are a part of. They're selling these drugs, and what I've done is every time I see one, new one, something like that, I go, let me look this up and see how much it costs. And some of these drugs are $10,000 a month.
Holy shit.
What? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
Some of those are the difference between life and death.
yeah. But
Insulin, people were paying $1,000 a month for insulin that I know, and Biden got that lower. Now it's only $35 is the most they can charge.
Yeah, yeah. But that isn't the only drug that people need to stay alive.
Right.
I mean, if it turns out that I have leukemia, let's say, CLL, and let's say I have symptoms, My doctor said there's one pill they can give you, and it'll
You're
just take
saying,
it'll lower all your symptoms and everything like that, and you'll be fine. Okay. I looked up the drug. Do you know how much that costs a month?
500.
Oh, try 5,000, something like that. Yeah.
But you're covered though, right? You get that? Yeah, you covered, Alex? Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not.
I would think you'd be covered, right? Because you have your insurance and you have
Yeah,
Medicare.
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But that doesn't mean I'm covered.
See, you shouldn't have to worry. These people shouldn't have to worry about that.
We shouldn't have to worry about any of it. Hey, you've got leukemia? Here's this pill. Take it. Oh, how much does it cost? On us. Okay? But I mean, and how much money do these companies have to make?
Yeah.
Why are they putting a premium on our life? That's what I'm saying. And it's
So I'm not saying that price is right, but I am saying that companies have a lot of money into R&D also that has to be considered.
Of course. But that's kind of like the doctor who says to you, I have to charge these kind of prices because I'm paying back for my education.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, how old are you? I'm 65. You're still paying off your education, huh?
Yeah. Some doctors borrow up to $1 million to get through medical school.
It's like 8 years of school, I think, right? Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, the point I'm making is, come on, how much money do you have to make before you've made back the money it costs for research? And I'm saying, for instance, let's take the COVID vaccination.
Oh, wow.
Okay, to begin with, that was a drug they already had that they were working on.
Yeah.
But let's say it cost them billions of dollars. How much money have they made back on that drug? Come on,
a lot.
Give me a break. So I'm just saying that we shouldn't have to pay these kind of expenses.
And a lot of times the government funds some of that research too.
Yes.
We get nothing back for the tax dollars that we put in to fund that.
Yeah, the government doesn't make back a percentage of those profits.
Right.
Yeah. It's just something the government does, and that's it. So anyway, so the other thing that who was it I saw that was talking about what I've been talking about for quite a while, that all these news networks are just absolutely going crazy. Oh, I know, it was Jon Stewart the other night.
Jon Stewart, that was great.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, he was talking about all the networks, and what he was kidding was, one of the things he was kidding is something I've always made fun of when I'm sitting there watching it, is when Trump is leaving Trump Tower to go to the courthouse, and they follow him by helicopter all the way from his place in Midtown to downtown. And you're going, why are they doing this? We know he has to get there, all right? Is it a mystery? Do we have to make sure he gets there, okay? And they're just covering him like crazy.
It'd be good if he got mugged on the way there.
Yeah, well, somebody said...
That's what they're hoping for.
I'd love to see him mugged.
I mean, I think it was Jon Stewart who said, come on, it's just a commute.
Yeah.
Well, have you watched CNN where they're sitting there, five of them are sitting around in a panel, and they've got a little text going in the corner, and every time somebody texts something out of the court, Trump just farted. Oh, we have Trump just farted, and Trump just did this.
No, but then
Trump just did this, and they're reading every single one of them. They could be in the middle of a conversation, and Jake will read over and they just asked this question, blah 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 blah. They just did this, they just did that, and they're constantly reading these texts, and you can see the text, the little bubble going, and they're still through the whole freaking day. They're doing this all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they can't be in the courtroom, so they're going to read you the text from the person that's in the courtroom.
Yeah, but
and then they comment on it.
On top of that, if it says Trump farted, they then have a panel discussion of what gastric problems he might be having.
Yeah.
I wonder how it smelled. What do you think, Jake? Well, when he farts, it could be like eggs. We don't know.
Yeah. Do you smell egg salad sandwich?
It's a matter of what he had for dinner. But it could be lunch. I think he has broccoli. No, he doesn't eat broccoli. He doesn't eat broccoli.
No, he's probably eating some kind of manly food. He probably eating
You got
cheese.
KFC again.
He's gonna make you fart.
What they're doing is they're spending every hour passing the time away while this thing's going on in court, and they just get a couple of little messages about what it, what it said.
I'm hoping he takes a heart attack in there.
No, they're getting them every 2 seconds. They're getting them every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's,
And they have
Watch
five
it for 10
people.
minutes. You'll go crazy.
There's
That's why I
five
don't
people
like
who
CNN.
talk about.
what?
There's five people who respond together to talk about something that basically is bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
nothing.
sitting there waiting for it.
Well,
I know it's like crazy. I mean, it's like surreal. You can't make it up.
well, they can make, but what they're crazy about this thing. This thing is like
Yeah.
gold.
Like the best
gold. They
job
think
for
it's
them.
gold for them, and
Yeah.
I turn it on and I go, "Are they still doing this?" You know,
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they learn in 2016
Give it impressed.
that you can make him president by talking about him too much?
That's what
That's
it is.
exactly
Free
what I was thinking when I was watching it.
Huh?
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching. I'm going, here they go again.
Yeah, here
Free
they go again.
publicity.
Yeah, and the guy, he doesn't, he doesn't need to be out campaigning right now.
He's worried about that, but he doesn't need to because he's getting free
Well,
campaign.
because every time he walks out of the courtroom, he stands there in front of those little gate or whatever, and he gives a speech.
Yeah, he does that stupid
Okay,
shit.
and it's good. Then that goes out to everybody, and they of course play that all day long. I mean,
Tell
he don't-
everybody how it's a gag order, violation
He
and the
yells
whole
at TV
bit.
when he does that.
and on top of that, here's the
They
part,
don't do nothing about
Here's
it.
the part I don't get. Is he a nominee yet for president?
No.
Not officially.
In fact, is Biden a nominee yet for president?
Yes.
Not
No.
officially.
No?
So why is Trump saying, I'm running for president, I have to be out there on the campaign trail? No, you don't. You haven't been nominated. Am I speaking some sense here?
Well, you would be if things were logical.
Boy, I mean, it's just
Same
really-
thing like he should be in jail for contempt of court, but he's not.
Yeah, and I don't know who's who's worse, CNN or MSNBC? Are they both just as terrible?
I think CNN's worse right now with the text thing because I flipped over to MSNBC and they don't have the live texting thing,
Yeah.
and they don't have that, but they're pretty damn close. And then I flipped over to Fox, and they're over on Hamas about how all the students are Hamas backers.
Oh,
And it's like
they're
not
never-
even nothing to
they're
do with the
bizarre
trial.
ones,
They're all
man.
Hamas backers over there. So I gone to all three of them, and I went, "This is fucking insane." I just turned off.
Where do you go anymore to get news? That's the question.
You're right.
I don't know.
You might be better off, like you said, Alex. I remember you saying a while ago. You're better off looking at news out of the country, really.
Well,
BBC or something.
BBC.
you can go to BBC, and BBC is, I guess, fine because what they're doing over there is they're standing off to the side and looking at this thing.
What the fuck are these Yanks doing over there?
Yeah, look at it outside. Yeah, look at a bunch of Americans. I'm yelling at the
I
set.
can't believe they lost that we lost the Revolutionary War to these assholes.
Look at our thoughts.
I mean, but the fact is that we just the fact is, though, the BBC has its own problems with parsing the news based on their own personal in-country politics. So yeah, they report us better and more fairly, but that's only because they aren't us. That didn't make a lot of sense, did it? But
No, it
you know
did
what I'm
because
saying.
they you're right. They have their internal things about their own country that they report biases and stuff.
I'm sure when they were
They're not
going.
so biased to us.
Well, I'm sure when they were, they were involved in Brexit. If that wasn't, their news 24/7.
Yeah.
If they, I don't know, do they have those news outfits, 24/7 news outfits? They do. Sky News,
Yeah.
which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, by the way. So, but they have Sky News. But yeah, you can go to the BBC. Also, if you watch CNN International, you may have a better balancing of this whole thing. But otherwise, it's terrible. It's just terrible. It's embarrassing. If you get a chance, if some of you haven't seen Jon Stewart this week, he talked about it perfectly.
Yep.
You know, and then he also had an interview. He had an interview with what's his name, Salman Rushdie.
Yep.
Which I saw the interview with Salman Rushdie on 60 Minutes, and I saw the one that Jon Stewart did. Jon Stewart's interview was better because he showed that Salman Rushdie has a sense of humor. He's a very funny guy. And I liked seeing that in somebody like that, because when you see him, you know, with the eye covered up and everything, and the fact that he's, you know, he's come off of being, if you were stabbed 11 times or however often he was stabbed, you wouldn't be in great shape either. But he doesn't look kind of like he would be a lot of fun, but he just has a sense of humor about the whole thing. And it's a great interview. So if you get to see this week's Monday Daily Show, it was a really superb. I think it's what Comedy Central signed up for, you know. But anyway, what else is happening? If we only got a couple of minutes left here. Anything really? I'm trying to think.
Well, the NBA playoffs are going on.
Really? Who's in it still? Who's in it?
Wait a minute. The
I
NBA.
have no idea.
Neither do I.
Oh, the NBA playoffs?
Yeah.
The Warriors are out, so I don't care anymore.
Okay, yeah, because the NCAA is college.
Yeah.
But nobody really cares what the NBA is doing, do they?
Oh, I root for the Knicks. So.
I just saw a headline about
Knicks,
the Celtics
right?
beating somebody.
Lakers and the Clippers got beat, so that's good too. So
What? the Clippers.
the LA
got beat.
teams are out, so that's good. So I pretty much don't care anymore.
Yeah, I used to have a lawyer who was one of the owners of the Clippers. Yeah, so that's all I know about the Clippers. Okay, I know they're in LA.
I was just trying to help out with conversation. You asked what else is going on.
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, I forwarded to you guys that Columbia, the CNN Columbia, the last flight of the Columbia. It's a 4-part series. It's really good.
It was a good, Brian?
It's very, very good. It goes into detail about who knew what and that they didn't say anything. And I don't know how much you guys know about that, but wow, it was a tearjerker at the end.
Where is that?
It's on CNN. I forwarded it to your wife, your lovely wife.
Oh, really? Why not me?
Because you don't read any of my stuff.
Well, I might be interested in that.
No, because we talked a little bit about it on Monday's show. So yeah, so I forwarded it to her. Check with her, but it's on CNN. It's the Columbia. It's the final flight. It's a 4-part series, and they go into detail and they interview a lot of the people and they show a lot of the footage of stuff.
So
with the tiles falling off on takeoff and stuff like that. It is really, really good.
So basically,
I was balling at the end.
Basically, it was a clusterfuck, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, NASA, nobody wants to speak up. So yeah, so they let stuff just slide, and it was really bad. But yeah, it was a really good show.
No,
you'll love it, Charlie. I'm sure. Yeah, well,
that was the one that blew up on takeoff.
No, that's the one that blew up coming in.
Coming back.
Yeah. Coming back.
Okay.
So they had problems up, and they didn't say anything. Yeah. So you'll see. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but everybody dies.
Yeah. I'm wondering how it ends. Well, Tony doesn't know how it ended, do you, Tony?
I'm going to have to watch it. I don't remember. Was that the challenge? No, that wasn't the challenge.
No, just watch it. Don't worry about it.
We just established that.
That was the one when she went on, well, the T-shirt went up. Kristen McCall.
That was a.
I remember that, watching that on TV when I was in the 80s.
I remember I bought a video game, an Apple video game once, and I still have it somewhere, of the Challenger flight simulator. Yeah.
Her classroom love.
It never lands. Anyway, I gotta go. The theme is playing. Goodbye, Charlie. Goodbye, Jeff. Goodbye, Kevin. Goodbye, Brian. Goodbye to Alan. and goodbye to Tony. Everybody give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll have another one tomorrow night. Meanwhile, stay tuned on this GabNet, because coming up next is going to be Amy Manuel and the Intersection. I'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.